Welcome to the Mangrove Community, strengthening the community one branch at a time. For more information about the community or how to volunteer, please visit mangrovecommunity.org.
Hello, hope everyone is doing well today. It's been a while since the Mangrove Community Presents Reasonable Doubt has been on the air or done any interviews due to the coronavirus pandemic or COVID-19 pandemic. First, I want to start off by telling everyone hello. I hope everyone is doing well during these trying times. I hope we're spending, as much time as we can with family, and we're staying prayed up and we're staying safe out there. We have a very special guest here today. We have City Council at Large, Position 4, Letitia Plummer. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Carl. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you so much. How's everything been?
It's been an interesting 90 days.
I bet. I know you didn't expect this. I know the last time we talked, you were geared up towards winning, and that was your whole focus. And now we're there. So how's everything been? What's the experience been like? And let's talk pre-COVID-19.
Okay. So obviously, getting my team together has been amazing. Really working on, I was able to keep 2 people on the team that was originally with the position or at large for office, which was really nice.
Okay.
And then I brought 2 people on, 2 of them that helped me a lot on both of my campaigns. And so we already really worked well together. One from social media, so she knew my how to speak for my voice, my perspective, what was important to me to get out to people. So really have been able to build a solid team. But the experience has been good. We have, obviously made a lot of friends and really kind of working. It's like your kindergarten class and you're all meeting for the first time and you're really trying to get a gauge of who's who and what things are important to certain people. Has been something that I've really tried to focus on, especially my district members, really trying to make sure that I am there to support them and understand what's important to them because they know those districts more than I do.
Right.
So kind of gelling those relationships, but it's been good. I'm still working full time with the practice. Well, not really full time, probably part time now, and just kind of balancing both of those has been a little bit interesting, but we're working through it. And I'm just so happy. I want to just thank everyone who voted for me because I haven't been on your show since we won. So
right.
Seriously tell you thank you. And for all the people watching and listening, just thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting me here. And I promise I'm going to work hard and keep my word to everyone.
Yeah. And so far you've done exactly that. And that's what I appreciate about you. When we met, you seemed very genuine, very sincere, and I've seen the same since you won and been in office. You're still accessible, and that's what we need to see from our leadership in the city. So I really appreciate what you're doing and how you're going about doing it.
No, thank you. Thank you.
And thanks for coming back on the show.
Yes, of course.
We appreciate it. So I know things have been kind of hectic, I know you didn't plan this at all. Let's talk about this. So what was your plans, your 90-day plans or 100-day plans prior to COVID-19?
Yeah, definitely. So, one thing that we talked about the whole entire campaign were three major focuses. One, the concept that our mayor has in terms of complete communities. We talked about that a lot. I kind of wanted to relook at that whole process. He was really focusing on putting homes in specific areas in terms of affordable housing, typically Black and brown communities, lower income communities. And I loved that idea. I just kind of felt that we needed to add to that public-private partnership, right? Which he's done a great job doing, but coming from the private sector, really wanted to add to that. And I just felt like putting homes in areas where you still didn't have the healthcare, you still didn't have grocery stores, you still didn't have, any type of healthcare center at all, transportation and things of that sort to allow people to thrive within their particular communities was something that I really wanted to bring and focus on. So that was one issue that we really haven't been able to do a lot with right now. Um, and that was really the biggest push I had, because I felt like that touched every single piece that was important to me, just kind of creating all the basic true needs. Obviously, I'm still fighting the I-45 expansion. We did really good coming out of the gate, trying to have them regroup on that expansion. I feel like the city has now proposed a better option, but COVID obviously has put us in the back burner on that as well. But we had a great first town hall meeting. It was a movie night, and we showed what highway expansion did in the 1950s and how it's no different from what it's doing right now. So those were two top hot points.
Are you referring to like how the highways in the 1970s cut through a lot of minority communities?
Yeah, so in the 1950s, it happened in New York, right? In the 70s, you're exactly right. We saw it here. In the 80s, we saw that it happened in 288, divided up that third ward area. So it's been something that we have had constant conversations about, but for some reason, we still haven't really learned the lessons. And so really still talking about that issue. And that was obviously a big push for me to make sure that I was a voice for those communities. For so many reasons, health disparities, all of it.
Gotcha. Will there be more meetings surrounding the I-45 expansion?
So now what we're waiting for is we're waiting to hear back from TxDOT to see we did submit. So the city did these individual meetings all over the city in certain areas that would be affected by the I-45 expansion, and they collectively took all that information and then they came up with their own idea, which I felt is very, very solid. So our whole goal was staying within the footprint of I-45 instead of expanding out those additional lanes, which would eat up those communities like Independence Heights and Kelly Gardens and those areas, right? And so the city actually agreed, which was nice. So all the fighting and the constant community engagement worked. So I believe that we do have a solution that will fall within the footprint of I-45, which is great. And so now our hopes is that TxDOT would agree to that and understand that's what the mayor wants to push, and then move forward with that development in that way.
Beautiful. Well, I'm glad it worked out that way, because, and I'm sure you can attest to this now, my schedule was so jam-packed around that time. Every time I saw one of those dates, I'm like, oh, I already have a prior engagement. So I missed all of those meetings, and I was wondering how that was coming about and how it turned out. So that's good to hear that they were able to save some of the communities that were at risk at that particular time.
Yes. So for full transparency, that is Houston's recommendation to TxDOT, right? So TxDOT still has to come back and say what they're going to do, and hopefully agree with what our recommendation is. But I will say this: it's really difficult for an organization to come into a city as powerful as our mayor is and as large as our city is, to come in and do something that the city or the mayor isn't really supporting. So getting that done was, in my opinion, a huge success.
Right.
And as you know, in our world, we have to celebrate those small successes.
Right.
They build on and create larger ones.
Yep. And with people like you in office, and Sally, Alcorn, and not to take anything away from anyone else, but I know you two are newbies in there for sure. I see the passion and the drive that you have, and I love what you all bring to the table. And I wanted to touch on those complete communities again, because when I saw it, I loved the idea. The only downside or what I would like to see is it expand, because it only touched certain communities, and there's more communities in the city of Houston that can benefit from something like that. So is that what you were talking about as far as expanding on it and spreading it to different communities and other communities throughout the city?
Yes. So the mayor has specific communities that he wants to touch. We already have some that are already in place. The problem, though, still is that we don't have the infrastructure around the community that allows that community to thrive the way that we want to. And so what I want to do is go to the communities that we already have designated as complete communities. And I can give you a list of those. They're on our website, on the City of Houston website. You can see which ones have been kind of allocated as or designated as complete communities. You can look at those. And as you see them, the groundwork is there, but we really have to bring our transportation with us. With the bond that we passed on Metro bond that we passed, we need to make sure we spend those dollars properly to where people are not waiting 2 hours at the bus stop, that they are covered and secure bus stops for them, that we start, I know that a lot of Metro was looking at usage to determine which bus stops should be, that are being used the most. But I feel a lot of those numbers may be a little bit skewed, because if you're waiting for 2 hours, typically you're not going to use that particular bus stop, right?
Right.
It's time to wait 2 hours for the bus to get there. And so I'm going to be giving those checks and balances to ensure that however our communities can move around in the most efficient and effective way, we're going to do that. And then how do we get good grocery stores? Our communities have no good grocery stores. I mean, they are true food deserts. And in HEB or Aldi are not going to come to our communities until we make sure that they're safe and that they're secure. A lot of our people in the Black and Brown communities spend cash when they're buying their groceries. And so it's hard to track expenditures. We don't typically buy those high ticket items like the steaks, the things that have a higher markup. So it's hard to get a larger, entity, right, to come into our communities. So we've got to work those things out. And because I come from the private sector, I am able to have those conversations effectively and find what is that middle road. We have got to get some good grocery stores in Black communities.
Right. And is it possible to even have people from within the community invest and build their own grocery store? Is that a possibility, or do we have to bring like a HEB or Kroger's or something into the community?
No, that's a great question, Carl. Let me tell you that's a two-part question. One, I don't want to eliminate, and I call them mom and pop, but not in a disrespectful way, right? Our stores or grocery stores have been there for years, for 20 and 30 years, right? If you can imagine, it costs more for them to buy a banana than an HEB, right? And so it's hard for them to keep good, fresh produce in their grocery stores because it costs so much more for them to get it there. And so what I would like to see is create a collaboration between all of the mom and pop grocery stores in one particular area, and then we all buy collectively, right? And so now we're buying bananas for a cheaper price.
Yep.
So now all of our mom and pop grocery stores have bananas, and they pay the same amount, or maybe not the same amount, but very close to the amount.
They can compete.
Larger. Right. Exactly. So I want to start that part first because I want us to thrive, and then we move on to the next one. But right now, if we can get them to be able to give them some buying power, it would be really phenomenal. And so in that instance, I am talking about making sure we elevate those stores first. Because we need, as you know, and we're seeing it a lot right now with the COVID situation, it's touching our communities the most. And they keep on talking about it as if it's a new situation. It isn't new. It's just a new virus. It's always our communities that are most affected. Yep. And the reason is because we have the highest level of disparities on every level, from education, from IT and the digital divide, to healthcare, to access of information. I mean, there's so many reasons why there are disparities around our communities. And so, yes, Black people are dying from COVID, but Black people are also dying from high blood pressure. Black people are also dying from diabetes at rates much higher than any other race, because we don't have what's necessary to take care of ourselves. And so what we put in our bodies is really important from a healthcare perspective. And I believe if we start there, then we will be able to eliminate the reputation that we have right now in terms of always being affected first and the most.
And we definitely have to educate ourselves in the area of nutrition and diet and things like that, because I know there will be people that say, well, Big Mama ate oxtails and this soul food every day of her life and she lived to be 90. Well, think about it. Big Mama, she lived in a different time where we were a little bit more active. She may have had to walk to a bus stop or work, or she may have been in her garden every day this society with the technology, we're not as active as we used to be in our daily lives. You know, you have to purposely be active nowadays. They make everything so easy and accessible for us that you barely have to get up and lift a finger. Another thing outside of the health, when it comes to this COVID, for sure, I look at the jobs that we hold too. A lot of us hold the frontline jobs, you know.
Yes.
So, and those are the people that are most exposed to the virus at this time. So when I look at the numbers, I take that into account as well, you know, the exposure.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to just jump back on in terms of the grocery stores, because I really am very sensitive to the fact that, because like you said, we typically have more lower minimum wage jobs, and we are working on that kind of, you know, we are getting wages that are much less than anyone else. And so when you tell a family, a single mom of 3 or 4 kids, and you say, listen, feed your kids well, you have to be careful with that, because she's doing the best she can with what she has, right? And buying lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers and broccoli is a lot more expensive than buying something in a can. And so that's why I want to figure out a way or a solution to elevate the areas that she shops, so that she can, when she has to make a decision between feeding all 4 of her children, she doesn't have to make a choice between a canned item and something that's fresh.
Right.
That should not be something that she has to make a decision on. Right. And I want to kind of go back on that, because I don't want to be insensitive and say that we purposely don't buy healthy.
Right. Right.
Because that's not the case at all in our households. But going back to the COVID-19, yeah, I mean, Carl, not only are we frontline workers, we also live in multi-generational households. So we got auntie there, we got her 2 kids, we've got grandmama there with, you know, it's multi-generational. The apartments that we live in, a lot of them are not up to par. So there's you know, they're not built properly. A lot of them, right? And so asthma is something we have to worry about. Black and brown communities are very, very close to freeways in high pollution areas, you know, cement batch plants. I mean, all those things are where our homes tend to be. And so if you additively put all that together, then there's a disparity there, right? And those are the reasons why we're hit the hardest.
So let me ask you this: with you're in a position now where you can really affect change and make change. But one thing I do know is that you'll need the community support.
100%.
What, as community, as citizens within the community or residents, what can we do to assist you in your efforts to make people aware first and educate people, and then actually execute and make these things happen in our community?
Sure. So one thing that I will say that is, when we're putting these new affordable homes in communities that have any type of environmental issues, I'm trying to think how to say this, Carl, without.
It's like we're doomed from. I can say it from you. We're doomed from the start.
Yeah, it's almost like, and this is not our fault, right? But it's almost like we are so accustomed to accepting whatever.
True.
And feeling like we're benefiting, or we're the lucky ones because we got a little bit of something. It's almost like, as a generation, we don't ask for enough.
We don't.
Does that make sense?
It does. It's like we were always taught to be thankful and grateful.
Yes, right.
I think we forget about the part where, and now I'm going biblically, where he says we were meant to live life and live it more abundant.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
We can't forget about that part.
Exactly. We have to know that we are worthy and we have value to ask for exactly what we want. And that's one thing that I don't know. And you're exactly right. I mean, for so many reasons, we're just grateful. And we have always taught, just be grateful. But I'm telling you right now, Carl, I'm in a position, and I can't make everything happen, but I'm going to push the envelope. And we deserve a lot. And we have worked really, really hard. And before I see our community suffer any more than they already have, I'm just going to kind of scream from the rooftops, because we've got to get more. and we just can't settle anymore. And the money is, everyone says we don't have the money, but we just have to spend the money differently.
Yes.
And like I talked about when I was on the campaign, it's time to level the playing field, and then from there we all flourish.
Right.
So I mean, I want to look at those communities in the same way that we're looking at COVID and how do we test. We're going to the hot spots, right? We're going to the places that have the most cases, putting testing sites there and testing those areas. Well, we should look at the growth of the city of Houston in the exact same way.
Exactly.
Build from the hot spots.
Yep. Because I can go back to Harvey, where it seems like the areas, the west side of town, the Katy, Cypress, all that, people came in, the funding came in. I was on a guy's show not too long ago who was affected by Harvey. And this was maybe within the last 3 or 4 months I was on his show. And he told me he's still living off his Harvey money. Now, if I go talk to somebody from a low income community, they'll tell you I didn't even get enough to fix my house or get my car replaced or anything like that. So that's when I saw that, it's like those communities are always the last ones to be considered. And then part of it again goes back to education and going after that funding and knowing exactly what to do to get it. So I want to say this while I have a chance. I'm here personally. I represent District B, but again, I'm for the whole city of Houston. I'm here for you as a community advocate. Whatever you need from me, let me know. I love what you're doing, and I definitely want to do some work with you to make some of these things come to fruition in our community.
Yeah, no, thank you. And we just have to get through the whole COVID situation. But right now, I'm fighting to make sure that we get testing sites in our communities. We've got to know if we're positive or not. So really focusing on those lower income communities, making sure testing is there. I want to talk, and maybe we could talk about it, it's another time, but people that have filed unemployment, how to work through that process. We've got to get information to our communities, right, so that they're armed with the right information so they can make good, solid decisions.
Right. Yeah, what type of resources do you know that are available through the city, if any, as far as people who may be struggling or to pay their rent or pay bills?
Sure.
Do we have anything?
Definitely. So my office and Sally, so let me just say this. I've got to say this. Sally Alcorn, Councilmember Alcorn, has been my ride or die on council. She has been, we are so in sync in terms of just where we are and keeping our promises, our campaign promises. But we worked really hard together for tenant relief. And we work behind the scenes with the mayor. We work behind the scenes with the apartment association, with housing, economic development, all those issues. And we are just so excited. The mayor announced today that we are going to get relief from the CARES Act. Now, I don't know how much money it's going to be, but I've got to just kind of toot my horn on that because we're really, really excited about that.
Go, girl.
Yeah. So
you ain't
right. Well, we were boxing back in the back, but we got it done. And so I don't know how much it's going to be, but it's gonna help a lot. But I will say this, and we talked about, a lot of us now, the word budget doesn't even come into our vocabulary because most of us are living month to month anyway, right?
Right.
But I will say that people are getting their unemployment checks now. They're getting a stipend from the government. Some people are getting an additional $600 from the Texas Workforce Commission as well. So some people may see a little bit of an excess in resource. And what I'm asking is just to kind of look at those dollars, and at some point we'll have a little conversation about budgeting dollars. But we really have to be a little bit frugal with the extra that we're getting, because we're not going to have enough money come down to pay 2 months back rent.
Exactly.
I just want us to look at money a little bit differently in our communities, because I don't want us to be, there is an eviction. There's a moratorium on evictions right now until the middle of May. But remember, now we're 2 months behind, right?
Right.
And I just want us to be a little bit cautious as that money's coming in, as a family come together and say, okay, this is how we're going to spend these dollars. This is what this is going for this, and really kind of be smart about it, because I don't want it to get caught off guard. when it is time to get that rent paid.
Yeah, and just to put it out there, Mangrove Community, we are, in our efforts, until that funding does become available, we're raising funds right now to pay rent for someone who's been laid off, and then also a frontline worker who's choosing to stay in a hotel room so they won't go, to have the risk of affecting their family with the virus. So that's what we're doing right now. And, anyone who would like to help out, www.mangrovecommunity.org, you can donate there. But definitely keep us in the loop of when that becomes available. And we'll definitely, I'll work with educating the people on how to apply for that funding once it becomes.
Yeah, exactly. And then, our barbers and hair beauticians, they can apply for the PPP money.
Okay.
And so I don't want them to think that there's no, assistance for them too. The money's definitely moving really slowly. We're on that second batch of dollars that have been, assigned to it, hasn't been distributed yet. But independent, if you're an independent contractor, then you can apply for those dollars as well.
Okay.
But I want to say that if anyone's having a hard time with applications or getting answers with the Texas Workforce Commission or anything that's just stifling them from getting the information that they need, please email me at large 4 at houstontx.gov, and that's ATLARGE 4 at houstontx.gov. I've got my team at the office is working diligently to get answers to our residents, to give them the support that they need so they can make really good decisions right now, because I know it's rough for everybody.
Yes, it is, definitely. And definitely appreciate the work you're doing. Also, I see that you're doing pop-up kitchens.
Yes. We got you on the list. We didn't forget about you.
Yes. And
yes.
We see that Southern Q was on Good Morning America this morning.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to it.
That's great. Well, we are doing so good. We have raised $22,000 so far.
Wow.
We have fed, by Friday, we would have fed 5,000 people.
5,000. That's amazing.
Which is so awesome, right? And we can keep this thing going because I've got the resources. The Harvey and Margie Foundation gave us 5,000, and then they did a $5,000 match. And then all the other money was raised through small donations, which has been really cool. Right. And so we're serving hot meals, and we're trying to do upwards of 200 meals now per day.
Okay.
And we're running out really quickly. We will be at St. John's Church in Acres Homes.
Okay.
Pastor CJ Connie Jackson.
Okay.
And I'll send you the address on that.
Okay.
But we are going to be there on Friday.
Okay, this Friday. Okay.
This Friday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, send me the info and I'll post the address and everything online.
Okay.
So who has access to come and get the food? Is it for anyone or?
Yeah, so it's not, we started doing it for seniors and the unemployed.
Okay.
Now we're not checking anything because everyone's having a rough time right now. But we are asking that if you are working and you are getting unemployment and you can afford to buy groceries, leave that meal, allow someone else to have that meal. Because there are a lot of people out here that have not been able to get their unemployment yet. And especially our seniors. They can't get out to those multi-purpose centers to get anything good to eat. The Houston Food Bank, though, has been amazing as well. They've just done such a great job. So definitely, they've got multiple locations around the city. Probably want to post those locations as well.
Okay, cool. So again, y'all heard her. If seniors, unemployed, if you can afford food, please don't bump someone else off the list who can really use it, who needs a meal. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of others and the situation you're in, the situation other people may be. So we'll post that information after the live so everyone can take advantage of that. So one other thing I want to touch on, I know because you're with the city, and it seems like there were kind of, it wasn't a complete agreement on this mask, on the wearing the mask and the result or consequences of not wearing it. As a city, where do we stand? Because I know I've heard from the county, you know, we have to wear the mask for the next 30 days. If you're caught not wearing a mask, it can be $1,000 fine or up to, I think, 180 days in jail. But then I've also heard the mayor come on and say, you know, we're not fining anyone. We're going to give them a mask before we fine them. So what should people expect, or, you know, when out and about with the whole mask?
No, definitely. So the county judge really supersedes. I mean, if you're living in Harris County, I would strongly recommend wearing something. Now, this is the caveat. It's not a mask. It's covering.
Cover.
So you can get a bandana.
Mm-hmm.
You can cut a part of a t-shirt. You don't have to wear a physical N95 or surgical mask.
Right.
That's not what we're asking. Just you can cut half a scarf, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And tie it over your face. It's just a facial covering that we want, because if you sneeze or you cough, we definitely don't want that to go everywhere. And the reason, Carl, that I'm supportive of that is because many people are asymptomatic, don't have any symptoms, and they could be positive for COVID. And that's the scariest thing about this virus, is the fact that you can have it and not have any symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like you're not being careful or cautious about the other person. You just may not know you have it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so we just want to be a little bit careful on that part of it. But in terms of finding, you're exactly right. There's no one that's really enforcing any of it. It's really an independent responsibility that we have as people, right? From a public health perspective.
Which I understand it from that point, you know, because when I go into public places, I wear a mask. Just like you say, I may be protecting the people from me versus thinking I'm protecting myself from them.
Yes.
Like you say, no one knows who has it. This is new. I mean, we don't have all the information. We see day to day how things change. But I do understand the other side of the argument. And I mean, you don't have to speak on it, but I just want to put it out there because you have people that feel like their constitutional rights are being.
Yes, I know.
But for safety measures, it's better to be safe than sorry. So that's why I wear my mask, and I would suggest everyone else wear it just to stay safe. Right. You know, but I just feel like the part that really took a lot of people aback was that you can be fined in a time where people are already struggling.
Yeah, no. Honestly, we don't need any more stress on us right now. Right. I don't want any of our community worrying that they're going to get hit with a fine, and definitely not going to jail. It's really just kind of something that, excuse me. It's just really something that we want to make sure that we take care of each other.
Cool.
It's public responsibility.
Yep. Wonderful. So I know we talked about the grocery stores and food deserts, and one thing I did want to talk to you about community gardens. Do you feel like that's something that can help curb the food deserts that we're seeing and bring fresh produce, and also educate people, you know, on how to grow their own?
No, 100%. That was on our list. And I had a great conversation with Representative Jarvis Johnson. He's really been focusing on food gardens as well. So we were going to actually take a portion of our pop-up kitchen money that we don't spend, and we're actually going to invest in seeds. Yes, so we are definitely on the move on that. I'm probably going to tag team with Representative Johnson on a lot of the gardens that he already has active. But yes, if you know of any, please, let's just kind of get together and do this thing as a team. But yes, I mean, creating gardens in our community is just a really big deal. And it's a great way of making sure that we eat fresh, for sure.
And then when I go to like the northeast side of Houston and Acres Home, and I see those homes sitting on more land than you see in your suburban communities. Yeah. I'm like, this would be great to teach people how to garden, and you go to your backyard and get what you need, and it helps save money, you know. So it's multiple benefits to community gardens. So yeah, we definitely want to get with you on that and get as many as we can in our communities to help alleviate these food deserts. You know, at least that can be a go-between until we get the investment dollars for grocery stores and things like that.
Right. And yeah, the really cool thing is those gardens could sell to our mom and pop grocery stores.
Exactly.
It really, you know what I'm saying? Like it just, we have to learn, we have to teach our community how to fish.
Yes, we do. And I love I love the way you think, because we think alike, just like when your whole idea about getting the mom and pop stores together to increase their buying power. That was an idea I had with a buddy of mine who he owns a liquor store, and
Okay.
I knew a few other people that owned them. I'm like, why not get together and buy together so you can increase your buying power and compete with specs and places like that. So it's that same mentality, and then as well with the selling back to the mom and pop stores. Like I was once in negotiation with a guy on getting some land in the Greenspoint area. It fell through, but I'm still pushing to make this community garden thing happen. And when talking to him, there's a juicing place right in Greenspoint that they sell fresh juice, and they get everything from Whole Foods. And I was telling him, like, hey, we get this community garden going, I'm your guy.
Yeah, it's farm to table.
Right.
In a true way, and we can do this thing. I feel like so many, especially in the political world, so many of us say why we can't do something, and I think that we need to change our perspective and figure out, just take the nose away from it and figure out how to get it done.
Yep.
And it may not be ideal initially, but it is going to take us to think outside the box. And it may not be perfect the first time, but I feel like trying something new and different should not be something that we're scared of. And it definitely positions us to a place to where we can be successful internally.
Right, right. So, is there anything else that you like to let us know about that you have going on with the city? Any resources that are available at this time that people may not be aware of?
Sure, everyone's home. So everyone can come to council meetings now because you're at home. So I want people, one thing you asked what you could do, we want more engagement.
Okay.
And I know city council meetings are probably really boring, but it's a good way to hear what's going on and what your representatives are talking about, and kind of what's a hot topic point. So I definitely recommend people to tune in. If you've got internet at home, you go to HTV, which is Houston TV, and you log on, and everything's live. It's at 9 o'clock in the morning on Wednesdays.
Okay.
Please just hop on there. You don't have to stay on the whole time, but if you want to know what's going on with these CARES dollars, and you want to know how we're going to spend it and what the plan is going to be, that's where you're going to find out.
Okay. So that's HTV?
HTV.
At 9 o'clock in the morning.
9
As
o'clock
far as
on Wednesdays.
as far as the Tuesday city hall meetings, are those still being held right now?
They are, and that's at 2 o'clock. You can still go on to HTV, and those are at 2 o'clock.
Okay,
and that's a public session. So we're just listening to the community.
And you still have people actually coming in, and it's not done virtual or anything like that.
Yeah, we're limiting them. We can't have more than 10 people in the room. We're still doing a lot of social distancing with it. And it's obviously really beneficial too. But watching our city council, when we were campaigning, people not complained, but people had an issue or had a difficult time engaging with the city of Houston, because the council meetings happen in the morning and typically people are at work, right? Well, now's a really great time to get engaged.
True.
And so while you're home, hop on HTV, watch our council meetings, because when you watch, and then they're all taped. So even if you miss it, you can get back on there and watch it.
Gotcha.
And really watch and see kind of what's going on. I think this is going to be an interesting time in terms of how we're going to spend those dollars. We got $404 million. How are we going to spend those dollars? Where is it going to go to? How are we prioritizing testing? Lots of questions are being answered now or asked now to our directors, and we're getting really good, solid answers. So that kind of community engagement is going to be important. And as you have questions, shoot them over to my email, to my office, and we can help kind of work through those questions.
H-Town, we have city council at large for Letitia Plummer. Y'all see her live here in the flesh. She's very accessible. And again, I continue to encourage everyone to educate yourselves on the political process. I know everyone is talking about buying black and black dollars and economics and things like that. We have to get involved in the political realm as well. They all play hand in hand. if you want to build a home, or a business, you have to go down to city council. You have to get a permit. They have to sign off on it. So we have to get engaged in the political world as well. So I encourage you all, again, this is your city councilor at large, position number 4, Letitia Plummer. She said, email her if you have any problems. And believe me, they get back to you. From the first time I met her on the campaign trail to now, it's the same interaction and the same communication. I deal with her office people now. I don't deal with her directly, but she still gets back to me.
I still text you back though. I called you immediately when you
called. You did. I'm just messing with you. But no, you're still the same, and I really appreciate you for being who you are and doing what you're doing.
No, I couldn't be here without all of you. This is an honor to be elected, and I'm working for everyone that's listening right now. So I'm going to keep on working, really giving me and feeding me information that's important to the communities is crucial. That's how I get inspired in a lot of ways, because I know what means something to all of you. And then I can come up with some creative ideas and some solutions on how to fix the problems. But thanks again for everything, Carl. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for loving our communities as much as you do. And we'll be in touch. Yep. And if there's anything I can do for anyone listening, please, or watching, please, at large, the number 4 at HoustonTX.gov. Reach out to me. We've got some good PowerPoints on there on our website. We're on Facebook as well. So hop on there. We've got some good PowerPoints. We've got some good information about the loan information, the PPP money, how to apply for it, and how is it to be used or spent, and things of that sort. So it's all on our site. And we're just trying to feed as much information as I can to our constituents so they can make some good, solid decisions. Cool.
Again, appreciate you. And thank you for actually getting out and rolling your sleeves up, and you're still out in the public doing what you do. That says a lot, especially with everything that's going on. And I definitely will be praying for you and your family that you all continue to stay covered and, continue to be blessed in doing what you do.
Thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. And same to you. Everyone, please, please, please be safe. Really seriously be safe. And the CDC, I'm just mention this really quickly, the CDC website is actually very good information. If you kind of comb through that, it does allow you to prepare, because a lot of times no one knows who's going to get COVID. And so there's a lot of really good tips on there, very usable tips on there. So you can hop on there. And then the Houston Health Department, go to their webpage. It shows all of the testing sites that are open. We've got some mobile units that are moving around now as well. It can tell people where to go. It's a very, very good source of information as well. And as that tenant relief information comes down the pike in terms of how to apply for it, who does the money go to, how much will be allotted to each person and family member, it will be on our website, but that's also going to be available too. And I've also made the recommendation to create a hotline for our tenants and our landlords. And it's not really a complaint hotline. It's a hotline to gain information.
Right.
So that you can know what your rights are, if you get an eviction notice, what to do, how to apply for those dollars, that kind of thing, because we really want people to get information.
And when would that be lifted, whether or not charging lates or evictions? Will that be lifted this Friday?
Sure. So May, I want to say the 14th. Carl, don't hold me. It's some date in the middle of May. I want to say it's the 14th. The Texas Supreme Court mandated that they extended the moratorium, so people cannot be evicted. They've given us an extension to the middle of May.
Okay.
So no one, please hear me. No one can legally be evicted from their apartment or their homes right now. I'll be very, very clear on that.
Who should they contact if they do find themselves in that position?
Send me an email at large 4. And I can direct them to the right person. I don't want to give the wrong information on that. But if you send me an email, if you're worried about something about an eviction, I can direct them to the right person.
Gotcha. Because it matters if they're in the city or county, that plays a part as well, right?
Right. Yeah, they have to be in the city of Houston. Except the county is doing the same thing. So they're putting some. So it's all of Texas. This moratoriums for the whole entire state of Texas.
Gotcha.
It's the Texas Supreme Court. So we do have a little bit more time. But I want people to understand. This doesn't mean you don't have to pay May or April.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You can't be evicted. Yeah, you're still gonna have
I want to make sure we're very clear on that, right?
And that's back to what you said about saving that stimulus money that you're getting.
Yes.
That's not like regular income tax, which you should save that money too. But anyway.
But yeah, just please
save that money for hard times.
Don't cash the check. Hold on to it for just a second.
Right. No waving 20s on Facebook.
Right.
All right. Again, it was a pleasure, and we're looking forward to seeing you out in the Greens Point area with the pop-up kitchen.
Yeah, we'll be there. You're on our list. CC will be calling you. I finally got somebody that helps me with all my special events, and she's been amazing. Her name is CC Scott, and she's been really great. So we're moving around now. And so, it's all with Pop-Up Kitchen is our Facebook page, and they can hop on there and they can see where we are, kind of a calendar of where we're going to be. And yeah, I'll give you all those links, and so that you can post them on your Facebook page as well, so so the community knows what's going on. But I want to hear from everyone. I want to know what's going on. Everyone's in my prayer always, every day, and just keep me posted what I can do to help. Okay.
All righty. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Carl. Take care of yourself.
All right. You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. That's another episode of Mangrove Community Presents Reasonable Doubt. Thank everyone for tuning in. I hope you gained information that you needed from that. City Council at Large, position number 4, Letitia Plummer. She had a lot of information, man, and we need more representatives like that, that are willing to sit down and talk to everyday Joe like myself, And she really has a passion and cares about the community. Again, if you need anything, you know where to contact us, deeplyRooted@mangrovecommunity.org. That's our email. Reach out to us if you missed any of this information and you would like to get it. We'll be posting some follow-up information that we discussed. And again, like always, y'all stay blessed and step out on your purpose today.